He didn't believe in ghosts. He didn't believe in signs. And he definitely didn't believe that something could knock on his door when no one was there. It started on a Tuesday, 3:17 a.m. Not 3:15, not 3:30. Exactly 3:17. A slow knock, 3 times. He thought it was a dream until it happened again the next night. Same time, same pattern, 3 knocks. He lived alone, 3rd-floor apartment, no neighbors directly across from him, no loose pipes, no wooden doors that expand with temperature, just silence. And then, knock, knock, knock. The first few nights, he ignored it. By the 5th night, he checked the hallway. Empty. Cameras? He installed one. And what he saw the next night made him stop sleeping with the lights off. The next night, he stayed awake. Lights off, room silent, camera pointed directly at the front door. 2:58 a.m., 3:05 a.m., 3:14 a.m. His heart started beating faster before it even happened. 3:17 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. He didn't move. He just stared at the door. Nothing. No shadow under the gap, no footsteps, no elevator sound in the hallway. Just silence again. His hands were shaking when he replayed the footage. The timestamp read 3:17:02. The hallway camera showed exactly what he saw. An empty corridor, no movement, no one walking away, no one standing near the door. But the sound was clear. 3 knocks. And then, something strange. The handle moved slightly, not fully turning, just twitching, as if someone gently tested it. He replayed it 10 times, every time the same. Knocks, pause, handle shift, empty hallway. He told himself it had to be a mechanical issue, air pressure, old wiring, maybe the building settling. But then he noticed something else. The handle didn't move randomly. It moved right after the 3rd knock, like a response. And that's when the fear stopped being curiosity and started becoming real. He didn't sleep that night, because now it wasn't just sound. It felt intentional. The next morning, he finally decided to ask the building manager. He tried to sound casual. "Has anyone complained about noises on this floor?" The manager hesitated, just for a second, then said no, too quickly. That hesitation stayed in his mind all day, so he asked again, this time more directly. "Who lived in my apartment before me?" The manager looked uncomfortable, said it was a short-time tenant, only stayed 3 months, moved out suddenly. No explanation. That was it. But later that evening, curiosity won. He searched the apartment number online, old listings, archived rental posts, and then he found something strange. A comment on a local forum from 2 years ago. Someone mentioned that a man living in that exact unit used to complain about someone knocking at night. 3 a.m. every night. He thought neighbors were harassing him. Management checked. Cameras showed nothing. The comment ended with, "He started sleeping in the living room with the lights on." His stomach dropped, because that's exactly what he had started doing. He kept scrolling. Another comment from someone claiming to be on the same floor back then. They wrote, "He kept saying it wasn't the hallway. He said the knocks were coming from inside the walls." Inside the walls. That sentence stayed in his head. That night, 3:17 a.m. came again. Knock, knock, knock. But this time, it didn't sound like it came from the door. It sounded closer, much closer, like it wasn't outside anymore. It was moving. And that's when he realized, whatever it wasn't trying to get in. It was already inside. That realization changed everything. He didn't jump. He didn't scream. He just sat there in complete silence, listening. 3:17 a.m. had passed, but the apartment didn't feel empty anymore. It felt aware. He turned off the hallway camera. If the sound wasn't coming from outside, there was no point watching the corridor. Instead, he placed his phone on the kitchen counter and hit record. No movement, no talking, just silence. He wanted proof, something logical, something explainable. The next morning, he replayed the audio. For the first minute, nothing. Then, a faint vibration. Not a knock, not exactly, more like a dull tapping behind the wall. 3 times. Pause. Then again. But this time, it wasn't at 3:17. It was at 2:42 a.m., earlier than he remembered. He checked the timestamp again. He was sure he heard it at 3:17, but the recording didn't match his memory. That's when doubt started creeping in. Was he waking up before the sound, or was the sound waking him up? Over the next few nights, the pattern shifted. Sometimes 3:17, sometimes 3:11, sometimes 3:23. Always 3 knocks, always followed by silence. He began mapping the sounds in his notebook, times, locations, intensity, and slowly, something strange appeared. The knocks weren't random. They were getting closer to his bedroom wall. Not louder, closer, as if whatever was making them wasn't outside the apartment at all. It was traveling through it. He pressed his ear against the wall one night. Nothing, just quiet. Then, from directly behind him, knock, knock, knock. Not in the wall, not at the door, right behind him. He spun around. The room was empty, but something felt different. The air felt heavier. And for the first time since this started, he didn't feel like he was being disturbed. He felt like he was being watched. He didn't sleep after that. Not because of fear, because of realization. The knock hadn't come from the wall. It hadn't come from the door. It hadn't even come from behind him. It came from inside the apartment structure. The next morning, he contacted a contractor, not management, not neighbors, a professional. He explained everything except the fear, just said there were strange vibrations at night. The contractor inspected the walls, then the ceiling, then the utility shafts. And that's when they found it. Behind the drywall, near the bedroom, old metal heating pipes, uninsulated, loose in certain sections. The building was older than he thought. When the temperature dropped at night, the metal contracted, pressure shifted, and the pipes knocked against the framing 3 times. Pause. Then again, because of the way the joints were aligned, it created a pattern. The reason it sometimes sounded closer? Sound travels unpredictably through hollow walls. The reason the handle moved slightly? Air pressure shifts inside old buildings when heating systems cycle, especially around the same time every night. 3:17 a.m., the scheduled heating reduction cycle. Everything had an explanation. Everything. But here's the part that stayed with him. Even after it was fixed, even after the insulation was installed, even after the nights became completely silent, he still couldn't relax in the dark. Because the real damage wasn't the knocking, it was the anticipation. Every night around 3:10 a.m., his body would wake up automatically, heart slightly faster, ears alert, waiting, not for sound, for confirmation that something was still there. But nothing ever came again. And that's when he understood something uncomfortable. The human brain hates uncertainty. When it doesn't have answers, it creates stories. When it hears patterns, it creates meaning. When it feels alone at night, it fills the silence with possibility. The previous tenant didn't move out because of ghosts. He moved out because of anxiety. Because once your mind attaches fear to a time, a place, a sound, it becomes real to you. And sometimes that's enough. There was never anything supernatural in that apartment, just an old heating system, a quiet building, and a brain doing what it's designed to do, protect you. But here's the question that lingers. If he had never checked the walls, if he had never found the pipes, would he still believe something was there? And how many fears in your life are just unanswered noises in the dark? If this gave you chills, tell me, would you have stayed in that apartment?